Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review, and today we're taking a look at the brand new Mafex Far From Home Spider-Man. And I'm happy to have my hands on this figure because I actually almost missed out on him because when the pre-orders went up, I forgot to go pre-order it. But then once I saw that he came out overseas, I went over to AmiAmi.com and they had it in stock, so I ordered it there and I was able to get my hands on it before the price shot up. But let's go ahead and get into this review. Before we do, I want to thank the sponsor of this video, World of Tanks. World of Tanks is a multiplayer online war game featuring historically accurate mid-20th century combat vehicles. Experience massive battles where you could command over 550 tanks that could be used to employ a variety of tactics in over 40 different battle arenas. World of Tanks is free to play for PC with over 100 million players worldwide, and now World of Tanks is having a collaboration with G.I. Joe. Available for purchase now, G.I. Joe Breakthrough Tank Style and Cobra Battle Operational Assault Tank Style are designed to make two corresponding tanks look like toys from G.I. Joe's classic lineup. So anyone who uses the invite code and completes the G.I. Joe missions will receive free G.I. Joe and Cobra emblems to customize their tanks. So download World of Tanks using the link in the description. When you register, be sure to use the invite code G.I. Joe 21 and activate the in-game missions to receive free G.I. Joe emblems to decorate your tanks. The code also gets you a T14 tank, tier 5, 500,000 credits, and 7 days of premium account. World of Tanks is free and accessible to anyone, whether you're a novice or a pro, so jump on and check it out. Have some fun with G.I. Joe inspired tanks. So as usual, let's go ahead and start this off by taking a quick look at the packaging. You are able to see Spider-Man. You can see all the accessories right up here. It does say Spider-Man Far From Home. We get a picture of the figure itself. Down here it says Mafex. We have the Spider-Man logo. On the side of the box we got Spidey doing his thing. On the back we get a look at the figure in a bunch of different poses and a bunch of accessories and all that cool stuff. Over here he's saying peace, and it does say Spider-Man Far From Home. This is a very nice looking box. It does protect the figure. It's constructed of cardboard and plastic, and it does look very good. So yeah, the packaging is collector friendly and all that good stuff. But enough about this beautiful looking box. Let's go ahead and take a look at the figure itself. And so here we have Spider-Man right out of the box, and personally I think this is a really good looking figure. I have seen a lot of people complain about the proportions. Specifically, I've heard a lot of people mention that his waist is too big and that his upper thighs are too big, and I kind of see where people are coming from with that. But honestly, I think that his proportions look very movie accurate, and it looks like an actual person inside of a costume. In fact, I would say that his proportions are better than previous Mafex movie-based Spider-Mans. As you can see here with the Homecoming one, I think the new one looks more like Tom Holland in the actual suit. So I think they did a good job with it. I love this Homecoming one, by the way. It's probably one of my favorite Spider-Man figures, but I do feel like the Far From Home version, it looks more realistic to the way that he appeared in the movies. So I think they did a good job with it. He's incredibly well sculpted. He's got a lot of good detail. The web lines are sculpted like with a lot of other Mafex figures. He does have a nice wash in there, but there are some areas where the wash went a little bit heavy, and you could see that we have some darker spots like here in the shoulder and things like that. But I think for the most part, the paint work on this is very nice, and he looks good. And the figure does have a lot of really nice sculpting work. I like the texture that we have that runs throughout the costume. I think that looks nice. I think this is a good looking head sculpt too, by the way. Very nice. We've got the white eyes that are surrounded by the black, and yeah, I think it looks good. As I mentioned before, in some areas the wash went a little heavy. You could see that right here in the shoulder. It does look darker than it should, but aside from that, I think the paint work is applied pretty well. There are a couple of imperfections that we could see on camera here, but that's because I'm zoomed in super close and I have all the lights on and everything like that. When I'm just looking at the figure, I didn't notice any of these small imperfections. So I think for the most part, it all looks really good. We have the spider on the chest that looks nice, and then the spider on the back, which I love how they put it in white. I think that's a really cool design. And one thing I like about this suit is how there's so many different types of textures on here. You know, like the red has a certain texture, and then the black has a slightly different texture, and then the black on the arms has a slightly different texture from the rest of the figure. So that's an interesting design, and you know, I think they did a good job with it. And then just checking out all the sculpting work on him. He's covered in detail. Just every single spot on this figure has some kind of sculpted detail on it. Oh, it looks like the foot maybe could have used a little more wash. You could see that, like right in there, they kind of missed it just a little bit. And down here it gets messy again. But yeah, you know, like, it seems like they need to do some work when it comes to putting the wash in. Luckily, there's no areas that are that bad, and there's nothing that catches my eye like, oh, you know, they messed this up. I guess the closest to that would be the shoulder, but even the shoulder doesn't really bug me that much. But yeah, the figure looks amazing, man. They did a really great job with it. And just like every other Mafex Spider-Man figure, this version does come with a bunch of different sets of hands. So first off, we have a pair of fists.
And we have a set of open dramatic hands.
We have a set of open loose hands. We have a set of thwip hands. We have a set of gripping hands that could be used to hold on to the webs that he comes with. And then he does come with an assortment of different web effects. We have some short ones, we have some long ones. There's ones that you can make it look like he's shooting the webs, and then there's ones where you can make it look like he's actually holding the webs or swinging from them. And then we do have a set of peace sign throwing hands. And then he does have a set of magnetic hands and a set of magnetic feet, so you could stick them onto metal surfaces. Spider-Man does come with two different heads. They are very similar to each other though. The only difference is the size of the eyes. And now for some size comparisons, here we have the Mafex Far From Home Spider-Man alongside the Marvel Legends Far From Home Spider-Man and the Diamond Select Far From Home Spider-Man. And I think that the Mafex one looks the most accurate to the movie just in terms of proportions and just the overall look. The Marvel Legends one is really nice too. I think they did a good job there. The only thing he was missing was a paint wash, but I added a paint wash to mine and now it looks a little bit better. The Marvel Select one is really good. I feel like a lot of people slept on that figure. One thing about it I think could have been a little bit better is that it doesn't, like, his body shape doesn't look quite right for Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I feel like this one looks a little bit more adult or a little bit older or just like a different body type. I don't know. It doesn't look quite right to me, and I'm not just saying that because of the scale. He just looks, you know, looks a little inaccurate in my opinion, but I still think that it's a great figure. I think Diamond Select killed it on that one, in fact. But anyways, next up we have him alongside the Mafex Homecoming Spider-Man and the Marvel Legends Homecoming Spider-Man. Next up we have him alongside the Marvel Legends movie Deadpool, and I have a feeling that we'll probably see Deadpool hang out with this version of Tom Holland eventually. I think he's going to be the one Fox character that actually crosses over. And on the opposite side we have the Marvel Legends Mysterio, and I'm kind of surprised that none of these other companies have made any villains for Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Hasbro is the only one who's given us Mysterio. Like, Mafex would make an amazing Mysterio, but yeah, they haven't done it. No figure arts, no Diamond Select, nobody, just Hasbro. But luckily, they did an incredible job with it and they killed it. So this Mysterio looks really good next to the Mafex Far From Home Spider-Man, so I am happy about that. And next up we have Spider-Man alongside the Marvel Legends movie Logan and the Marvel Legends Worthy Captain America. And I would say that this is probably the best 6-inch movie Captain America that's been released so far. I'm waiting for the Mafex one. I have a feeling that one will definitely take the top spot, but for now, the Legends one is my go-to movie Captain America. And next up we have him alongside an OG Toy Biz Tobey Maguire Sam Raimi version of Spider-Man, and I'm surprised that we haven't seen one of these companies do a modern take on that version of Spider-Man, especially someone like Figure Arts. I mean, Figure Arts did the old school Japanese TV show version of Spider-Man, and like, that was super random. I mean, it's really cool that they did that, but I'm just surprised that no one has come along and given us a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man because of how popular it was. And it's a cool design. Like, I still think that it's a nice looking design, but I would like to see Figure Arts, Mafex, even Hasbro. I think Hasbro would do a good job. But what's crazy is that this figure actually still holds up pretty well. It's a nice figure. It's got good articulation, has a really detailed sculpt, and yeah, I still have it in my collection, so that's a good one. But I would like to see one of these companies that keep making Spider-Man figures do an updated take on that version of the character. I think that it could come out really nice. But anyways, on the opposite side of that, we have the greatest Spider-Man figure of all time in 6-inch scale, and that would be the Mafex comic book Spider-Man. Next up, we have him alongside the Marvel Legends Mark 85 Iron Man and the Marvel Legends Doctor Strange from the 3-pack with Thanos. And then, of course, we have him alongside the Marvel Legends Pizza Spider-Man and Marvel Legends Bucky Cap. And for the final size comparison, we'll get him in here with some big guys. On the left, we have the Marvel Legends Children of Thanos 5-pack Thanos and the Marvel Legends movie Venom. And having him next to these big guys makes him look really tiny. But I think that works very well for Venom and Spider-Man. It'll be cool to have them fight each other. So, yeah, I think these look good. And as far as the articulation goes, Spidey does have a lot of really good stuff going on, but to be honest with you, there's one aspect to the articulation that I'm kind of disappointed in. I'm not going to sit here and act like this figure has bad articulation whatsoever. It is a Mafex figure, and they're known to pack their Spider-Man figures with a crazy amount of articulation, and that's exactly what they did with this version of Spider-Man, but there is one joint on him that doesn't quite get the range that I've come to expect from Mafex figures, so I was a little bit disappointed, but overall, the figure has great articulation. He's fun to pose and play with and all that good stuff. But let's go ahead and get into it, starting off with the head. So the head does move side to side. We have the standard Mafex head and neck setup where we get movement where the upper neck meets the head and where the lower neck meets the body. So using both of those, he could look way up to right there, which is awesome. He could look down to right there, which is very nice. And then we get some really good side to side. Check this out. So that's really good movement at the head and neck area. And then for the torso, we have a diaphragm cut, and then we have a ball joint at the waist. And the diaphragm cut is actually where I'm disappointed, because as you could see, it doesn't crunch forward that much at all. Like, it only crunches forward to about right there. Like, if I'm just using the diaphragm cut, it only goes to right there. And that seems to be significantly less compared to other Mafex Spider-Man figures, because check this out. I have the Homecoming one right here, and just moving him at the diaphragm, he crunches forward a lot more. So I'm not sure what's up with that. That's something that I was a little bit disappointed in as soon as I took him out of the box. But he does have a ball joint at the waist, so using both of those, you can get him to crunch forward enough, you know. And he could definitely achieve the Spider-Man poses that you'd want him to be able to get into. So there you go. But yeah, I was a little disappointed that he didn't get more ab crunch at just the diaphragm cut itself. But other than that, it does move side to side, which is nice. It could go back to about right there. And it does rock side to side as well. But you're not going to get all that much side to side movement from the diaphragm cut. You're going to get most of the side to side from the waist. So as you can see, you can move it side to side. So thank God for that waist ball joint, because otherwise he would not be able to do much with his torso. But the way they have it set up is adequate. You know, I think it works out just fine. And then for the arms, we do have the standard Mafex butterfly type of joints, and these are always awesome because you could get your figures into, you know, cocking his fist back type of poses, like he's about to punch somebody. So that's always good. And then you could also get his arms in front of him a really nice amount, which is great. So that's nice. So really good stuff at the shoulders. And then we do have ball jointed shoulders that do go all the way around. You could bring his arms out to the side a really nice amount. And then we do have upper bicep swivel. And no problems with the arms. They haven't popped off or anything goofy like that. So good stuff there. And then he does have double jointed elbows, which get a really good bend. Look at that. At the wrist, we have a ball joint that has a swivel and a hinge. For the legs, we get the standard Mafex drop down hips. So you can drop them down and bring his leg up a really good amount. There we go. So that's very handy for like swinging poses and stuff. And then you could bring his legs out to the side a really good amount. You could get him to do the splits. He does have an upper thigh swivel hidden in there. He's got double jointed knees. At the foot, we do have a little ball joint, so we get a swivel, some rocking action. They could go forward to right there and come up to right there, and then he does have a toe hinge. So like I said, he does have really good articulation, but I'm a little disappointed in the diaphragm cut. That's a little strange. Usually Mafex figures have really good range in that joint, so I'm not sure what happened with Spidey. Looks like maybe they had some kind of issue. But still, overall, like I said, you could definitely get him into all your Spider-Man type of poses, and he's definitely fun to pose around and play with. So I'm happy with the articulation overall, but I do wish there was a little more going on with that diaphragm cut. Alright, so overall, at the end of the day, when the dust settles, the smoke clears, the curtains close, and it's all said and done, I think this is a great figure. But that's no surprise. Mafex does a good job on pretty much all of their Spider-Man figures, and this guy has pretty much everything that I've come to expect from a Mafex Spider-Man. The only thing I wish was a little bit better is his diaphragm joint. I wish I was able to get a little bit more movement out of that. But aside from that one little problem, I think this thing is awesome. And once again, Mafex did a really good job on a Spider-Man figure. So, you know, it is what it is. They're killing it. In my opinion, they put out the best Spider-Man figures that you could buy in 6-inch. Like, pretty much no competition at this point. I don't know if I'd put him up there with the Homecoming Mafex Spider-Man or the comic book Spider-Man or the Peter B. Parker from Mafex. I don't know if he's quite that good. Like, I wouldn't put him in the like best of my collection kind of category, but he's definitely, you know, near the same class as those figures. I would like to do a comparison video with this guy and the rest of the Far From Home Spider-Man figures, but I don't have the figure arts one, so I think I might have to go buy that and just do a big discussion video about all the different versions, because I feel like every company has put out a pretty good version of this Spider-Man. I like the Legends one, I like the Diamond Select one, the Mezco one is nice, and this one. The only one I'm not sure about is the figure arts one, so I'm gonna have to grab him and see what's going on. But anyways, I think this is a great figure, and I'm very happy to have it. And with that, I think that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Before we get out of here, I do want to thank the sponsor of this video, World of Tanks. Be sure to check them out. Also, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Also, be sure to hit the bell notification so you know every time that I go live. If you're not aware, I do go live every Tuesday and Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific time. So come through, hang out, let's talk about toys, and let's get weird. Thank you very much. Peace.